Hi, I'm Michael Masterman. I'm Chairman of W Resources. W Resources focuses on tungsten. We've got a market capitalisation of about £20 million, and I'll focus on our La Perilla tungsten mine, of which you can see a picture there, but we also have a number of other very good quality assets in Spain and Portugal. Just in terms of an overview, we focus primarily on tungsten, as it says on our name, W Resources, but we've also got some very good copper and gold assets in central Portugal, specifically the São Martinho gold deposit in central Portugal and two former copper mines in central Portugal. The flagship of the tungsten portfolio is the La Perilla mine, which is north of Seville. That's 50 million tonnes of resources, 30 million tonnes of JORC-compliant reserves. We're moving towards expansion of that operation to 2 million tonnes of ROM to produce 2,700 tonnes of tungsten concentrate in 2018, with the production ramping up through 2019. I'm going to spend most of my time on La Perilla because it's the most imminent in terms of financing and development. But just while we're on this page, we also have the Regua tungsten mine in northern Portugal. That was originally discovered by Rio Tinto. It's 5 million tonnes at 0.35 grade. It's very close also to our Tarouca tungsten tin property, which is about 20 kilometres to the south. We expect full approvals for Regua in the new year, and we'll have that following La Perilla very shortly into production. Good team. I'm the chairman. Fernando Lafuente, who runs all of our Spanish operations, and La Perilla's here at the conference, and Aaron Zumalak, who's our main metallurgist and process engineer and worked with me at Fortescue Metals Group's also on the team. La Perilla. La Perilla is being developed in two stages. The first stage is to 2 million tonnes of ROM to produce 2,700 tonnes of tungsten concentrate. We then have a very low-cost expansion to 3.5 million tonnes of ROM and 4,000 tonnes of concentrate. La Perilla will be the largest tungsten mine in Europe. All regulatory permits to develop La Perilla to the T2 stage are in place. As I'll show you in a moment, it's an exceptional location, which gives us, contributes to our very, very low capital costs. We have all the long lead items, the crusher, jig and concentrator ordered. We're 7 kilometres from the main Madrid to Lisbon highway. We have access to exceptional quality water supplies and also a power grid connection. We have an operational lab, and we have free market access via truck to all our European customers. The capital expenditures on the project are vastly lower than other comparable tungsten projects. I mean, just putting that in context, we're looking at $25 million for the development of the T2 stage of the project. We'll spend about $250 million for the Hermandon project. Marsan spent about $450 million for the Nui Phao project. We have offtake in place. We have very, very low operating costs in the bottom quartile of the global tungsten cost curve. And most importantly, we're in the process of securing and putting in place a $30 million term loan, which will kick off this development process. We're still very much on schedule to have that in place by December 2017. Just in terms of summary, the financing kicks off the development. The focus is on the loan financing that's going to be sourced from the United States from one investor. We're in the process of confirmatory due diligence and legal documentation. So we expect to be able to update the market over the next 3 to 4 weeks on that. To date, we've invested around about $16 million US in investment. So that brings the total capitalisation of the project to around about 46 million. In terms of where we're heading, T2 produces for a capital cost of around about 27 million, 20 million of EBITDA. There is a very low cost expansion of 20 million to take the production capacity to over 4,000 tonnes per annum, which takes us up to around about 40 million of EBITDA and cash flow. So putting that in context, that is a very, very strong base, earnings base for a mid-cap listed, London listed company. Tungsten. Tungsten's the world's hardest metal with the highest boiling point. There's been some very good work done recently by the International Tungsten Industry Association looking at the actual end uses. Tungsten is consumed, 65% of it's consumed in transport, trucks, cars, aeroplanes, resources, mining, as everybody in the conference would be used to it, but also oil and gas and construction. Very much tied to industrial production, and we're seeing very strong global industrial production out of China and Asia, out of the United States, and more recently strongly out of Europe. Tungsten price has risen very strongly in the last 6 months. It's range trading around about $280 to $320 per MTU. That's a good base price, and it's consistent with the forecasts of all the major industry service providers. Argus is projecting a price of around $275 to $325 over the next 5 years. So we're in a market price environment where supply is short, it's increasingly constrained. We're seeing very, very strong demand from both our European and American customers for supply. We intend to start up production from initial supplies in 2018 before moving on to large-scale production from the expanded plant in back end of 2018, 2019. This is our development timetable. The plant is very much modular. All of the long lead time items, as I mentioned, have been contracted. We're 12 months build from full financing in December through to start up back end of 2018, early 2019. We're very low in terms of operating costs and capital costs. Right at the bottom quartile of the cost curve in terms of our estimated operating costs, which are $94 per MTU. We're also, as I mentioned in the introduction, vastly lower in terms of capital costs. We're talking about a 25 million capital spend to get to be one of the largest, going on to be the largest tungsten mine production in Europe. Why do we have such low capital costs? Well, one, we've already got a large amount of the capital in place. We're next to the highway, next to a water channel. We already have tailings dams in place, and we have no strip on the mine development. The processing circuit is low cost, simple gravity separation. We're truck and shovel, simple crushing to 10 mil, jig for a very, very efficient separation, and then gravity separation through the concentrator, spirals, shaking tables, flotation, and electrostatic separation. That processing circuit gives us the very, very low operating costs and capital costs. All of the key packages for delivery of this project have been bid and let, so we have a very good fix on capital costs and schedule, and we're using the leading European suppliers. We have very strong financials of the order of 20 million EBITDA for the first 3 years, increasing to over 45 million in the 3.5 expansion. Very strong base for financing. We have a portfolio of large tungsten mines. La Perla is under development, and there are significant catalysts for repricing of the company over the next month. Thank you.